Introduction to ITGS. ITGS is the study of how the developments in information technology affect people and society. These impacts can be either positive or negative. And the most important part is ethics, because in ethics you study what is right from what is wrong. And this is the main concern in ITGS, because there are a lot of IT systems that can be used for a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. It depends on how the user uses it. This is the ITGS triangle. That is the, let's say, the basic part of ITGS. There is an social and ethical significance. The stakeholders are us, the people affected by the IT systems, and application to specific scenarios and IT systems. Every IT system has a social and ethical significance and application to a specific scenario, as I was saying, because you can apply it to, for example, if you're a businessman, you can apply an IT system to improve your sales. And in a social and ethical significance, we can say that you can use the IT system to improve your sales based on the society that you're going to sell your product to, or you can also improve your sales that of a product that is not ethically good. This is the first strand in social and ethical significance, as we were saying before. That is one of the strands. And issues of social and ethical significance can arise whenever information is used. These issues have social impacts, either positive or negative, on stakeholders. And as we were saying, social and ethical significance has some components: reliability and integrity, which refers to how well a computer system works, and integrity integrity refers of the integral part, the content of the program. For example, you have to know if you can trust an Apple computer, because you know that they are good manufacturers and they know what they're doing. But if, for example, if you come and you try to buy a computer that has a brand and you don't know that well, you don't think that's very reliable to the function that you're going to give it. The security is protecting the IT systems from unauthorized users. For example, we can use measures such as passwords, firewalls, logs, and nowadays IT systems also use biometrics. For example, your fingerprints, your face recognition for the recent phones, also some voice recognitions too, and in sometimes just all of them, and in sometimes just one thing. And another biometrics example could be an iris scanner. That is a camera that scans your iris, so only you can access the system. The privacy and anonymity. This refers a lot to people, or when people want to share their information in order to create an account. For example, let's say in a social media, and in this social media you have to share some of your information so you can relate to other users. The social media algorithm relates you to the other users based on your interests. So, and there are some people that like to remain anonymous because they don't like to share a lot of information. The thing is that some social medias share or sell your information to others, So that's why you get sometimes announcements on the on the web that are products that maybe you're interested in, or products you will need based on your interests. The intellectual property refers to the copyright and author rights. Let's say, for example, there is a this prevents piracy, and for example, let's say that this also defends the when you try and steal a music masterpiece from an author that has previously recorded it, or let's say when you try to download a program that it's paid for free, you are evading the intellectual property and the copyrights of the ID system. The authenticity involves a user proving their identity to gain access to a computer system. So we can relate here to the two-factor authentication. For example, that you have to access to Instagram, for example, to Instagram and to WhatsApp, because for Instagram you create a code that you get to your phone number via text message. Also by WhatsApp, you get that phone number, and the other factor is the that you get another you have to introduce another code that the system has previously created for you, or you have inserted into the system. The digital divide and equality of access. Let's say that in this issue, all the users have to have access to all of the IT systems equally, and even within individual countries, these are often groups of individuals that lack access to technology or services such as the internet. For example, let's say a person in Africa that does not have access to internet may or should try to purchase a program, for example, let's say for $5, as the same amount that a person that is trying to buy that same program in Europe, let's say. The surveillance involves using IT to monitor people, either with or without their knowledge or permission. For example, let's say when you track your phone when it's lost, the iPhones or all your Apple devices have some trackers inside that you can track them within an other device that has your iCloud account logged in. So you can play a sound and you can find it easier. The policies are rules designed to control the way people use IT. And this is when you accept, sometimes including me, I don't watch too much because it's a lot of text and you only want to access, and then you put okay, but we should read this because in here are all the rules and all the specifications that the program has that may or may not damage either our information, um, or maybe the program can contain content that may include content that we're not comfortable with. The standards or protocols are technical rules that designers of hardware and software should follow. They are needed to ensure different systems are compatible with each other. For example, let's say Instagram. Instagram has to be compatible for a PC, a Mac, an iOS device, and an Android device. And this they do it by following these standards or protocols. So they can maximize their range of users and some other, and also they can get more people from all around the world. People and machines. People and machines concerns the way that humans interact with IT, including physical interactions through interfaces and our psychological response to IT. Let's say we're not, we as the in the 21st century people that we were born in this century, our generation, a lot of people tells us that we were born with a phone on our hands, and that because of that we know how we want to use technology for almost everything. That from people that, let's say, a person that was born in the 1960s, let's say, because the person that was born in the 1960s does not know the technology as well as us, because they did not grow up with the technology as we did. So they will have a different interaction and a different psychological response than us. The digital citizenship is like, for example, following the rules of netiquette. That this also means that we should use the information, the IT systems ethically, and just to communicate and use and to follow, and let's say um, to follow and to use as it is its main purpose. This is the second strand, application to specific areas. The IT is it exists all around us in a lot of mobile devices, and a lot of enterprises also use it for different areas. For example, we can use IT for business and employment. For example, let's say we want to hire someone and we want to get to know it. So someone wants to apply to a job, and he or she has to fill in, let's say, a form. So the company knows better the applicant's profile and can select it better. For example, in education and training, we can see Microsoft Teams or Zoom. That these are platforms that we can use um, to upload our homeworks, and download worksheets, and communicate with our teachers. And training, we can use the Nike app, for example, for running, that the app tracks you. Um, the app that tracks your progress and your distance that you run. The environment, for example, let's say we can uh, we can use the technology to um, for example, the weather app, the weather channel. This can be a perfect example that can be used to prevent the climate, and based on that uh, we can make our activities as we want. Health. The health can be, for example, the Apple Watches or the smart watches um, that track your your beats heartbeats per second or per minute, and also track also your sleep, so they can measure how deep is your sleep and how well you sleep during night. Home and leisure, for example, let's say Alexa, that Alexa um, can light up a light bulb, play music, turn on a TV, and also you can use for example, artificial artificial intelligence, and for example YouTube, Siri, and all those. Politics and government. In the U.S., when you go to when you go to vote, you cast your vote and you slip it through a scanner, and that scanner counts up your vote. So that can be an example. Or for example, the machines that are at the airports, that you plug in your information, mainly in the US, and then you take a picture of you, your passport, and your visa if you are going to the US. This is the third strand, the IT systems, that they can that this way we can understand the the way that IT system works. All IT systems take data and input process according to program, and we can say that these are the four types of IT systems that are right here, and we can say that it can be a hardware, software, and also we can use all these components to work on the IT system. And these are also the components of all IT systems. You make an input, then it processes, it stores the information, and then there goes the output. And sometimes it comes to the network if it requires internet connection. Thank you.